Okay, for this problem, it says using your calculator, match the answer choice that is equivalent to the given trig values. This is going to be a test question on Thursday. You have a test on Thursday. So the sine of 22 equals, is it A, B, C, or D? What would you do to approach this? What would you do if you had this problem on your test? Type them all in. I would type in both the problem, sine of 22, and all the answers. Oh, what's wrong with my problem? Make sure you're in degree mode, because you shouldn't be getting any negative answers. So there's my sine of 22. Now let's do sine of 67. Is that the same? What about 68?
No. Oh, no.
23?
No.
No. Oh, those are not sine. That's cosine. Sorry. Cosine of 68. Is that the same? Yes. So my answer is B, because both of them are, what was it? 0.37. 0.37. This one was 0.37. Does that make sense? And then you do the same thing for the second one. What is the cosine of 67? It's 0.39. And which one of these also is 0.39? So is it the sine of 67? The sine of 23? Yes. And then just double check the other ones to make sure. Cosine of 22, no. Cosine of 68, no. So, which answer was my answer? C. And that's what your test question, one of your test questions is going to look like next week. Not next week, this Thursday. All right, if you can please put up your warm-up into the back pocket and get out the notes that we did today, or that we're doing today. And if you can please fold them like a book. So what we're doing today isn't necessarily new, it's just word problems. All right, we're not doing anything crazy new. We are just going to apply some word problems, and I'm going to teach you some vocabulary that you might see in word problems that we haven't necessarily seen yet. So what I need from you right now is to please close your laptop halfway. We'll come back to it. Close your laptops halfway. We don't need to be distracted by them. Thank you. Today we're going to be talking about angle of elevation and angle of depression. Okay? These things are, they're actually kind of the same thing, but an angle of elevation is the angle between, here we go, it's going to be an angle made by the line of sight and the horizontal line. When looking, elevation would be looking what direction? Up. An angle of elevation is an angle made by the line of sight and the horizontal line when looking up. So what angle of elevation is if I'm a person right here, that's me, my line of, my horizontal line, what's a horizontal line? Right, straight. Your line of sight is what you see when you look up. So that's what this is. Here's my horizontal line, and then here's when I'm looking up. This is the angle that's created. Okay? An angle of depression is an angle made by the line of sight and the horizontal line. But if it's angle of depression, you are looking down. If you have an angle of depression, you're usually on some type of platform. you are on a cliff, you have to be not in the air like floating, but you have to be somewhere higher up to have an angle of depression. All right. Doesn't actually mean depression. Thank you. Okay, cool. Nevaeh, you're going to go pick out your schedule for next year. You take everything with you. You're going to be all class period. Do you know what math you're going to take next year? Okay. All right. Let me make sure I'm not skipping anything. All right, so if you look up, please, a person, you see the person on the ground looking at the hot air balloon. If you take the horizontal line right here, and then their line of sight as they look up, that is your angle of elevation. Likewise, there's a person chilling in the hot air balloon. If you take the horizontal line and them looking down, they are looking at a person. That's the angle of depression. Why are these angles the same exact number? They are. So here are your two options for math. If you have an 85 or higher for the semester, I would take that one. If not, I would take that one. Does anybody recognize this vocabulary word we learned a long time ago? What?
Is it like the one word like you go by side?
You go by same side, different side? Inside or outside? These are alternate interior angles. And alternate interior angles are the same, which is why angle of elevation and angle of depression are the same. What's the key thing I need you to remember about these? They are with the horizontal line. The reason people mess this up is because they like to sometimes put it with a vertical line. And we'll talk about that in a second. So right here, which one is an angle of elevation? Which one is an angle of depression?
What is elevation for?
Be careful, one is actually not elevation. Here's my horizontal line going. One is a depression. What is 4? A horizontal line going up. That is an elevation. What about 2? A horizontal line going. That's elevation. And a horizontal line going. That's depression. Okay? So if it's a horizontal line going up, elevation. Horizontal line going down, depression. All right, we are now going to go to your notes and do 4 examples, and then we'll be done. A meteorologist measures the angle of elevation of a weather balloon is 41 degrees. So, here's my meteorologist. That's how I draw people. I'm not an artist. He measures the angle of elevation. What do you need for an angle of elevation? What kind? A horizontal line and then go up. A horizontal line and go up. And he measures that as what? 41 degrees. Here's my little weather balloon. A radio signal from the balloon indicates that it is 1,503 meters from his location. Where am I going to put the 1,503 meters?
Are we still using the terms?
We are still using, it's still the same type of problem. How high above the ground is the balloon? Where am I going to put the X?
Where
What it can be.
behind the 9 meter thing.
How high it is. That's going to be my X. And then we are just going to solve this like we normally have. What do we do first?
We label your hypotenuse.
Label your hypotenuse. So everybody draw across from the 90 and label it C equals the hypotenuse.
Okay.
How do 41 and X compare?
Opposite.
its opposite.
That's so.
Yep, and by the way, at the top, we can just add right here, so, ka, toa. The hardest part about this is going to be drawing your picture. Okay? But if you get the picture wrong and you do all the work with your wrong picture, you're only going to get 2 points off. So still attempt it. Yeah. All right. Opposite and hypotenuse. O and H is which one of these?
A sign.
Sine. We're going to do so. So we're going to do the sine of what's my angle?
41 degrees.
41 degrees equals, what is my opposite over my hypotenuse? What is O over H?
X over 15.
And as a reminder, when X is on top, every single time, what do you do if X is on top? You multiply. Every time. In the calculator, I would like you to type this. What is 1503 sine of 41? By the way, I learned yesterday, if you hit this and do delete all, it resets you to
Oh, I did that.
it resets you to radians. So some of y'all are like, it's changing it to radians. It's because you're deleting all. Did y'all get this too? X equals 986 point, what does it say, round to the hundredth? 2.06 meters. And that is my answer. Did we do anything new besides seeing this word angle of elevation? Everything else we've done before. Miguel looks out from the crown of the Statue of Liberty. So, y'all are going to love my Statue of Liberty. Oh boy. Here she is. Beautiful, right? I know, I'm a true artist. And so he's at the crown of the Statue of Liberty, approximately 250 feet above ground. So here's Miguel. He's like way up here in the crown. You can walk up there, by the way. Has anybody ever been up the Statue of Liberty? No. I have not either. Me neither. Okay. He sees a ship coming into the New York harbor. So here's my amazing ship. Oh, wait. How high above ground is he?
250.
Where do I put the 250? Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's going to be the vertical line, right? He sees a ship coming into the New York harbor and measures the angle of depression as 18 degrees. What does an angle of depression have to have? It's a what? It is going down, but watch. If I do this going down, look up, I cannot draw this as my triangle. Why?
Because it's not the line of sight.
It has to be with a horizontal line. This is why people mess this up. Because y'all like to do the triangle like this. It has to have a horizontal line with it. So this is my 18 degrees. Okay, now where can I write the 250? If this is 250 feet high or above ground, don't you agree that's over here as well? So I'm going to write 250 feet right there as well. What do I want to know?
Find the distance from the base of the statue.
From the base of the statue to the ship, don't you agree that would be from here to here?
Yeah.
So what is that? That's the same thing as the top. Do you see how this can get real confusing real quick? You're already confused since the beginning. You want me to re-go over a little bit? Okay, I can re-go over it. So, did y'all agree with my Statue of Liberty and the guy?
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
Okay, but you get the point. Alright, do you agree this is 250 feet high in the air? Okay. From here, you could have, I'm going to use this charty pass. From here, you could have drawn a triangle like this. Here's Miguel way up here. You could have drawn a triangle like this. If you drew a triangle like this, you cannot put the 18 right here. Why? An angle of depression has to have what? A horizontal line. Is there a horizontal line right there? No. So you would have to put the 18 down here if you wanted to do that. Remember, an angle of depression and an angle of elevation are the same thing as far as degrees. Okay? I ended up doing it like this. It's the same triangle. Don't you agree I could draw another triangle like this? Don't you agree that would be the same thing? This would be 250, this would be x. What would that be? 18. Yeah. So it's all the same thing. Alright, what do I have here? Or what do I do first? Thank you. I have my hypotenuse. Do I have my hypotenuse? No. When we don't have the hypotenuse, what are we doing? Tan or TOA. So this is going to be the tan of 18 degrees is, what is opposite the 18? What's adjacent to the 18? X. And again, y'all agree drawing the picture is the hardest part?
Yeah.
Once we draw the picture, we can just go. And what do I do when X is on bottom every single time? Switch them and divide. X is now going to go to the left. 250 stays up top, and tan 18 goes to the bottom. And what is 250 divided by the tangent of 18? 769.42 is perfect. What are we talking about here? Feet? If you have trouble drawing that one, today and tomorrow we're going to practice that. Ooh, what's that noise? This next one you probably saw on your worksheet yesterday. It said the base of a ladder, a 35-foot ladder, is 5 feet away from the wall that it's leaning against. Where do I put the 35? It's the ladder. Where's your ladder? Please write that down. Where do I put the 5? At the base. It's 5 feet away from the wall. Which angle is between the ladder and the wall? Let's go ahead and write wall right here, just so we know that is a wall. B. B is between, do y'all agree? Here's the ladder, here's the wall. So angle B is between the ladder and the wall. How would I find the angle? How would I find angle B? I have to solve. And do what we normally do. What do we have here? Label my hypotenuse. And I have this 5. How does B and 5 compare to each other? Opposite. So when I have opposite and hypotenuse, I have so. So I'm going to do the sine of B. I don't know what B is, so I'm just going to leave it B. What is opposite of B? What is the hypotenuse?
35 feet.
And anytime I am trying to find an angle, what do I do?
You have to, what's the word?
Inverse. Anytime you are trying to find an angle, you are going to inverse. And just put that in the calculator. What is the inverse sine? Remember, to do inverse, you have to hit the functions button right here. And you're choosing the one with the little -1. 5/35 is 8 point, it's an angle, so I'm only going to go 1 decimal here. 8.2 degrees is what I got. Is that what y'all got? 8.2 degrees. What questions can I answer about that? I know this feels like a lot, especially with all the words and all the word problems. You're going to have, your back page is going to be like this on your test, but it ain't going to be this much. Don't worry. Which angle is between the ground and the ladder?
A.
Angle A. And how would we solve for angle A?
You wouldn't know that you have a hypotenuse.
Do a little cos.
I'm going to use cosine. Why?
Because
Because
5 feet is close to the hypotenuse.
5 feet is right next to A, which is adjacent. And do you agree I have the hypotenuse? So we're going to use cosine. So the cosine of A, what is adjacent to A?
5.
What's the hypotenuse?
35.
And again, what am I looking for here? So if I'm looking for an angle, what do I do? Inverse. So this time, instead of doing sine inverse, we're going to do cosine inverse. Oh, don't do that all in one like I just did. We'll do cosine inverse. 5/35 is
81.7.
81 point. I'm going to give it 8 because it rounds up. 81.8 degrees. Question. What should a, whoa, my voice just cracked. What should a triangle add up to?
180.
What's right here?
90.
Is 90 plus 8.2 degrees plus 81.8 degrees, 180. Let's make sure, because if it doesn't, we did something wrong. So 90 plus 8.2 plus, what is it? 81.8? Oh, looky there. So you can check if you got something like that. Okay. All right, last one. I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes. I would like you to try to do this one on your own. Find the angle X. Go. Which trig function did y'all use? Sine. Do y'all agree we have opposite and hypotenuse? We are going to, you should be using sine. So,
You do the inverse.
why are we going to do the inverse here?
Because we have an
Anytime, anytime X is an angle, you are doing the inverse. Every single time. If you don't know an angle, you are going to do inverse. And then just put that in the calculator. Make sure you're in degree mode. So inverse sine of 1900 divided by, what is it, 15,000? Make sure you have the right amount of zeros.
Yeah, I got undefined.
Yeah, you probably messed up some zeros somewhere. So what is x?
7.2.
7.3 degrees. 7.3 degrees. Does that make sense? Anytime you're looking for the angle, you're doing inverse. All right, last but not least, this is going to be a test question on Thursday as well. Can you identify which one goes where? Yeah. So what I'm going to do real quick is, instead of having us write all these words on this picture, can y'all do me a favor? And can y'all label this A, B, C, and D? That's what your test question is going to look like. Please label these A, B, C, and D. This is 12 points on your test. 12 points. Where does my angle of elevation go? Angle of elevation means it goes what direction? The one next to a man. A horizontal line then goes up. This is my angle of elevation. Please put an A there.
No, because the last time, on one of the examples, I think it was the hot air balloon. You started on the dotted line. Where was the man looking off of the cliff? You started on the dotted line.
Yeah, because I needed a horizontal line.
But this one you started not on the dotted line.
Oh, because it's where he's looking from. It's where he's looking from. On your test, it'll be a little bit more obvious which one it is. You're not going to be filling in right here. It'll have like a blank where I want you to fill in. So in this case, to help you out, I get what you're saying. You're going to have a blank here, a blank here, a blank here, and a blank here. I get what you're saying, and I get where your confusion is coming from. Yep. What about an angle of depression? Where is my angle? Where the plane is. But which one? There are two where the plane is.
The one where
it has to have a horizontal line going down. This is my angle of depression. This is my B. Where's the right angle go? Where the 90 usually goes, where C is. And then which one is not special at all? The one we have left. Why is this not special at all? It does not have a horizontal line. It has a vertical line. Say it again.
Why are we looking for a horizontal line?
Because that's the definition of angle of elevation and angle of depression. What do both these definitions have? A horizontal line. So in order to do that, you have to have the horizontal line where the person is looking first and then looking up. I think I talked about this the other day, but everybody always asks me, Miss Olivares, what's the point of this? Why do we do this? And things like that. So I want to kind of show you, have you ever seen one of these? A man standing on the side of the road with a vest, holding like one of these things right here. Let me find a better picture. This right here. Have you ever seen this image? Yeah, so this is called a clinometer. And what a clinometer does is it takes your angle of elevation, takes the line of sight, and then they set it to a certain degrees. And that's how in construction they measure really long roads or really high buildings or different things like that. Instead of getting a measuring tape or getting something and actually physically measuring how tall it is, they can just get a clinometer and they can figure out the degrees. Now granted, they're not doing all these calculations. They probably put it in a computer and the computer does the calculation for them. But it's the same concept. They get that degrees and then they solve for X to figure out how high that building is. Have you ever noticed when you go over a bridge, it tells you how many feet it is so that the trucks don't hit the bridge? So like it's warning. That's kind of in essence where that comes from. One of the things it could be used for. Okay. All right. What I would like you to do is to glue this onto page 50. we only have 20 more pages to add to our notebook for the year.
That's kind of sad.
It's crazy. I don't know why I just wrote 20. Say that again. Angle of elevation and angle of depression. Angle of elevation and angle of depression. For the rest of the class period, which is 15 minutes, you have a Schoology assignment to do. And then that is it. You are done for the day once you submit that Schoology assignment. You need to start it right now, though.